When you travel alone, it's a total different experience, you know? You spend much more time with yourself. You have to be more responsible. Maybe sometimes when you travel with somebody, she will take care of maybe restaurants or accommodation or safety. You don't care that much. But when you're alone, you have to be literally more focused. And as a woman, me personally, I didn't feel as safe as a man, but I wouldn't say that something bad happened. In these 3 months and a little bit, I didn't have any bad experience in Nepal and India.
Ja, herzlich und wärmstlich willkommen bei einer neuen Ausgabe von DOVE, dem Diary of Volunteers on Earth. Hier vom schönen Balkon in Graz-Eckenberg. Die Folge oder der Eintrag heute ist allerdings schon knapp 2,5 Monate her. Ist entstanden im Norden Indiens in Dharamshala, beziehungsweise ganz genau in McLeod-Ganj. Aber bevor ich mehr zur heutigen Folge sage, noch ein, zwei kurze Anmerkungen, das gute alte Housekeeping. Und zwar einmal, wenn ihr diesen Eintrag live in Echtzeit anhört, also vor dem 10. Oktober, dann sei hiermit noch die Einladung ausgesprochen zu meinem Live-Vortrag am 10. Oktober in der Überfuhrgasse 48a in Graz. Und dort werde ich über meine 6-monatige Reise, über dieses große Autostopp-Abenteuer von Graz bis Indien erzählen. Also erscheinen Sie, sonst weinen Sie, wie man so schön sagt. Und das Zweite ist, dass ich heute ein vorletztes Mal meine Sponsoren erwähnen darf im Podcast, nämlich die Versicherungsgesellschaft Dr. Walter, bei denen ich meine Reise- und Krankenversicherung abgeschlossen habe. Und ich kann das wirklich nur wärmstens empfehlen. Jeder Person, die eine Reise irgendeiner Art plant, sei es kurzfristig oder langfristig, versichert es euch ausreichend, aber eben vor allem langfristig ist Dr. Walter eine super Option, weil es eigentlich keine wirkliche Begrenzung gibt, was den Vertrag anbelangt. Also das die Laufzeit, das läuft dann so lange, wie ihr das eben benötigt. Die ganzen Infos zu den Produkten gibt es in den Shownotes. Vor allem die ProTrip World Versicherung ist für alle Leute, die irgendwie Freiwilligenarbeit, Ehrenamt, Praktika, Hitchhiken, Backpacken, Bikepacken, was auch immer, sehr interessant. Und ja, damit zurück zum heutigen Eintrag mit der lieben Gabriela, die, wie ihr auch gleich hören werdet, habe ich tatsächlich vielleicht 30 Minuten, bevor wir zum Aufnehmen begonnen haben, im Hostel in Dharamshala kennengelernt. Aber nachdem wir ein bisschen geplaudert haben, war für mich recht schnell klar, dass sie interessante Geschichten und Erlebnisse hat, die super für den Podcast passen würden, weil sie hat nämlich sowohl in Nepal als auch zuvor schon unter anderem auch in Syrien ehrenamtlich geholfen. Super spannend und außerdem hat sie auch einiges zu erzählen als eine Frau, die alleine mit dem Rucksack in unserer Welt unterwegs ist. Das ist nämlich tatsächlich nicht so oft der Fall, hoffentlich in Zukunft immer öfter. Ich hoffe, dass auch dieser Podcast vielleicht dazu beitragen wird, dass sich mehr Frauen das auch zutrauen. Und wir haben auch über eines meiner Lieblingsthemen und offenbar auch über eines von Gabrielas Lieblingsthemen gesprochen, nämlich die gute alte Spiritualität. Ist immer wieder spannend, finde ich, so die Standpunkte von den Leuten zu hören. Ich hoffe, es gefällt euch. Ja, und da sage ich gar nicht viel mehr dazu, außer viel Spaß mit Gabriela aus Rumänien.
Yes, that's it. Nice. Thank you, first of all, for being so spontaneous, because for everybody who's listening in and watching or whatever, Gabriela and I just met maybe an hour ago or so here in the hostel. Beautiful, beautiful background with the mountains here in northern India. We are in Dharamshala, exactly in McLeod-Ganj.
Correct.
And what brings you here?
Part of my journey, actually. I left Romania with this dream of being on the roof of the world where the spirituality is. And when we say that, we think about Tibet, India, Nepal, right? So actually I started my journey in Nepal, and now India, and I will go up to the north, but not in Tibet, but to the Indian Tibet.
Yes.
Yes, Ladakh, it used to be like Tibet, but now it's part of India. So, but at many Tibetans, and it's...
Yeah, also here in McLeod, it's like a Tibetan refugee, basically.
Here is Dalai Lama.
Exactly. Actually, I have to be honest, I did not know that. Before
really?
coming here. No. I didn't know that he lives in Dharamshala or in McLeod Ganj. And also there's a big Tibetan community here. And you've also experienced a lot on your trip, like you were telling me earlier already. And once you said the keyword volunteering, I was like, okay.
There it is.
Yes, I have to ask more about that, and you were kind enough to agree. So you started your trip in Nepal, and you were just saying one beautiful sentence just before we started recording. What was your intention when you started?
The trip?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I wanted a spiritual enlightenment.
Just that, right?
Exactly. Not that you can find that everywhere, right? But more than anywhere. Indeed, I think this part of Asia. I mean, why everybody's choosing Asia? You know, for finding himself, or finding just relaxing, detaching, knowing more about himself, being more close and becoming more closer to itself. Why not Europe? Why not North America? It's really nice. You can do also there, but from my point of view, I feel something special here. Really, I don't know how to explain.
You don't know. I was just gonna ask. Can you put your finger on it, or can you somehow?
Yeah.
Do you have a theory?
It's just the energy of the people. It's just people are so kind, so good, smiling all the time, right? Even in Thailand. Thailand is so touristic, but it's like the land of smile, right?
Yeah.
And every single country in Asia, I found super warm people, helping you unconditionally, not expecting you something. Because, you know, we're talking about volunteering. I was asked, like, you cannot volunteer in Romania. There are many children, you know, also where you can volunteer in another place. That is absolutely true. But it's it's the way how I feel also here. It's giving help. It's priceless, and it's so good for every single country and every single place. But here it's the thing that I also connect to the land more. I feel more secure, more calm, more relaxed. So yeah.
That's what drew you here. And you already told me a little bit, just like the tip of the iceberg, about your experience volunteering in Nepal. So maybe let's just start with that. First of all, I would like to know, how did you get into that? How did you find out about it? And then just tell me about your experience.
Okay. So I was searching a lot, actually, what place to volunteer in, and I was looking for a couple of months before some organization, and they were asking so much money just to apply for it, and I was like, oh no. But then reading, I found one platform. There are more actually, but me personally, I was collaborating with World Packers.
Oh yeah. I'm registered to that one too.
Yeah. Okay. World Packers. So I just found one volunteer in Nepal. I wanted to teach English because I had this experience from Romania. During my university, I was teaching English to some kindergartens, and I love children. I relate so much with the children. They have such a good energy, and they are so pure, really. So I said, okay, I'll just volunteer in a kindergarten, and I didn't want a big city for the moment. Just after Kathmandu, I was doing Annapurna, so I wanted to settle a little bit in that area. So I chose Chitwan, which is the national park. Actually, it was Bharatpur, the capital of Chitwan. And it was this family. I really like this idea of homestays. And when you volunteer, or you go abroad, when you go somewhere, just to stay near to the community, especially stay in the family, because this is the best way to learn about the culture, to understand more the people. So I was staying with this family, Nepali family, for 2 weeks. They had one orphanage and one kindergarten. It's not a private one. It's like for people with maybe less possibilities, they are fantastic. Fantastic, absolutely. That's the most. I didn't expect that. When you travel somewhere, you think in stereotypes. You come from home with misconceptions, like, for sure. All the time happens like that, but
we have our little glasses on that we grow up with. Yeah.
From media, from TV, most of the people, most of the time. I mean, now I will make a little bracket. For example, when I was doing this in Mardin in Kurdistan, I was like, where I'm going, next to Syria, terrorist attacks, but it was...
We'll get to that one after.
Best experience ever. Yeah. So that's how I went also to India and Nepal, thinking India, Nepal, not so... They were just amazing, really. I found more structure than in some kindergartens in Romania, in Nepal, Wow. And they were so... The difference between teaching English in Romania, for example, and teaching English here in Nepal was that the teachers were like a family. They behaved with the children like part of their family. It's not this idea of a student and teacher. We are a family all together, hugging each other, laughing each other, touching so much, playing like it would be your grandson or a child. It was amazing, really. And I thought this maybe in the beginning for impression. No, it's every day like that. Really good experience. Really, really nice.
That's a thing that's considered to be very problematic in, let's say, our culture, in European, Western cultures. I'm also a teacher. I used to be a primary school teacher. And touching children is just, it's like a complete no-go. Especially when you're a man in primary school, it's even worse, I think.
You're right.
But like you said, it changes the relationship and how, like, the dynamics between
they don't see it like this, literally.
Exactly,
And I also wouldn't think about that. Maybe also, if maybe I would see this approach, this closeness in Romania, I would, now if you mention, I would also think that, maybe it's a little bit strange, but here no. And sometimes also, I don't know, maybe, but in Romania it's like this: you are not allowed not to touch, but only if you, for example, if the child is doing something bad, you cannot, shake him or not at all. Here, they are children. It's like, I should just stay here, Nobody does anything. I mean, it's fine. It's.
One thing that I've already, because I actually, you're the second person on this podcast who has experience with teaching English in a homestay. I volunteered, not volunteered. I interviewed Melika, she volunteered in Kyrgyzstan.
Oh, okay.
And I talked to her about this as well. Did you ever get the feeling that the orphanage was like, not genuine or anything like that? Because I've heard that's the case in some countries, especially in Southeastern Asian countries.
I haven't been to the orphanage. I was just teaching in yes, they had an orphanage as well. But I was only teaching in the kindergarten, so I wouldn't know to tell you. But knowing them, I don't know. I really think they were, I wouldn't think to any bad.
Sure.
Yes.
And what was it that, because you were saying that it helps you when you're in a homestay, you're staying close to a family, it helps you to dive deeper in the cultures. What were some of the learnings that you took away from staying with the family?
First of all, from I was interested in finding more about Hinduism, right? They were Hindu people. So Rosina, the lady
Shout out.
would always stay in the evenings, and speak about religion, explaining me a little bit, and then how Nepali family are. So what are the customs, for example, when a girl, when she has her period, for example, it's a special event that's taking place. Members of the family just come to bring little presents like flowers or rice, or they do this tika, they wish them blessings, and they had 2 children, Nani and Babu, and for the small one, for example, just before becoming a youngster, they shave their head, and they have just a little ponytail one just here in the middle of the head, and again, all the family, it's coming and wishing really, really nice things. And what I found is also in India is the thing, family, institution of the family, it's so much important in Asia. I'm not saying that in Europe is not, but definitely here they are much more united.
Yeah, it's more tight.
100%. So how I feel in their family and how they made me feel, and it was not only for me, each and every volunteer. They just receive you as a part of the family, and they were living also with the grandma, how we call them, the mother of the husband, and all together, eating together, taking care. In the morning, for example, every Tuesday, they worship a Hindu god, and she would come to her mother-in-law, right?
Sometimes tricky.
So she would bow her head and put these little flowers on her feet, and then she blesses her. Wow! I mean, for me, it was really nice to see that. I've never seen that before.
That's amazing.
Yes, and the respect, and she would always be like, because she had a problem, she couldn't walk, and she would like, oh, we have to come back to grandma, so taking care, always.
Very
so
important.
so good.
Yeah. Where does your interest come from for the different cultures, different religions? Has it always been like that, or was there like an event that changed it?
Actually, it started in faculty in university when I was studying anthropology, among other subjects, and I was really, really curious, and I don't know how to explain it, but I'm that strange person who goes, for example, in front of a rock in Ephes, for example, right?
I was there too.
Man, everybody will like in 3-4 hours, they just go. I stayed there since they opened the gate till they closed the gate. And I would just stare in front of some random house and just imagining how they were before, how those horses, carriages pass by, and then how I just love to somehow project back in time and to see how it was before. I just love it. It's like you put your phone in the charger. It just gives me so much energy. And like knowing so many cultures and traveling so much and seeing how many different my culture is from the others is just fantastic. It's really, I always say that, I will tell you something personal now.
Of course, nobody's listening.
But you know, exactly. But you know, one of the reasons I starting this trip is that I have an autoimmune disease, arthritis. And for me, it was, in 2010, it was the end of the world for me. So it just blown my world.
Of course.
It was so bad. I couldn't walk in the beginning. I couldn't do anything. So my biggest fear was that I couldn't travel anymore or climb anymore or meet people anymore. So yeah, this is a story that can last for 3 days, like if we start now. But long story starts, when I started to get a little bit better and I started traveling, I noticed the following. When I was traveling to a foreign country, when I was meeting nice people, because when we meet now, we exchange energies, right?
Yes.
We are energy. I mean, this is the reality.
Yes,
right?
It is.
So,
this will annoy so many people. I know that. I know, because not everybody can fully, or I don't even claim I can fully understand what that means.
It's not about understanding. Medicine proved it. Neuroscience proved it.
Yes.
We are electromagnetic field around us. Our brain. We connect our brain and he sends electric impulses. It's medicine. It's not some, I don't know.
So, some woo-woo theory.
Yes, theories. No, it is medicine.
I agree. I 100% agree.
And more neuroscience, it's putting accent on this, because you know why? Having this autoimmune disease, it led me studying so much medicine. My rheumatologist is saying that I'm a doctor without diploma, really, because I really studied that. And what I noticed is that in people with autoimmune disease, and not even, when they have, when they're happy, when they are not stressed, when they have like really nice experiences, they don't have symptoms, or their symptoms get much better. So this is what I noticed when I was traveling, meeting nice people, exchanging these good energies, staying around children, as I told you before, that they have this purity, they never think in a negative way, not on purpose, right? So I would feel very good. So that's how I started traveling and exploring more, and
I can totally,
it's like a medicine for me.
Yes, I've been told that too by people. They're like, when you travel, like, wow, you're glowing.
Oh yes.
Like literally, people have been telling me that, and it's like, because it feels so right. It feels so almost to say natural, I don't know, and really like enriching.
And I will make a difference. Sorry for interrupting you.
No
It's two ways of traveling. One, the touristical one, when you just go, like, see the object and run and then stay in a restaurant and that's it. It's not my type. I don't say it's bad. Some people do it like that. But on the other, how I like to do it, like stay a little bit, as I told you, in homestays with the family, volunteering, being more close to the people in need. Because you know what? The best lesson in life I always learn from people who had interesting or bad stories. Yeah. Because always, if you will see, people who pass through some events in life are really special, are really different. Yes. So those are the people I'm looking for when I'm traveling.
Exactly. And you find them automatically. I think you don't even have to go looking.
No.
You just run into
them. Just yesterday, I told you I was in Dalai Lama temple here, and just from many people, I mean many people, hundreds. And all of a sudden, one lady just said to me, she was 70 plus, and we started talking, and she had the same, like this arthritis, and we started talking, and this another guy, he used to be a monk, but now he is studying and teaching Buddhism and in New York for 30 years, and we started a 3-hour-long conversation. We were shocked, like when we checked the 3 hours. I don't know when it passed. Yeah, it was one of the most valuable days since I started traveling this time.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's just those kind of encounters are super special. They're the best. That's what all the shit that happens to you as well when you travel. Those kind of situations, they make everything worth it.
Yes.
And it happens a lot. I don't know. I think. Also for me, it's just when you're opening yourself up to those kind of encounters, because like you were saying, and also I make that distinction too, and I don't want to like say one thing is better than the other. Yeah. But it's one thing is tourism and the other thing is traveling. Yeah. And I think when you're a traveler, you have to open yourself up to those kind of encounters.
You said it very good. You described it perfectly. Yeah.
Because it's just. It goes deeper than just the superficial stuff, and that's the beauty about traveling for me personally as well.
That's why sometimes I just stay. I took some days without doing anything and just staying and writing, for example, and observing people. It's really interesting. And you know, one guy told me, if you want to know the best things about Indian culture, go to a bus station. He told me.
A bus station.
A bus station, you know, because you will see like every type of people, and it is true.
Yeah, it's much more authentic than if you just keep on staying in your hotels. Like you were saying too, you changed your approach, right, to traveling as well.
Yes.
From staying by yourself to
in Nepal I was taking like this private in a hostel also, but I was staying in this private room, maybe more, I don't know, just to be more comfortable, to adjust a little bit. But then I didn't meet too many. I was, of course, volunteering, meeting people there, but not so many. So I said in India I will change strategy. I would just stay in hostels with more people.
I'm gonna ask you about your other volunteering experiences, but let's. If you want to, if you're comfortable with it, let's talk a little bit about that facet of traveling, especially traveling solo as a woman. How is that for you? What have your experiences been like? I mean, now it's been, what you said, 4 months?
3 months, and
3 months.
Something.
Okay. And you were also asking me about hitchhiking and stuff like that. But how is it from your perspective?
I was traveling alone, but just small periods of time. But now is the longest period I've traveled with. And when I first thought about it, the beginning of this year, traveling with somebody, it's also really nice. But when you travel alone, it's a total different experience. You know. You spend much more time with yourself. You have to be more responsible. Maybe sometimes when you travel with somebody, she will take care of maybe restaurants or accommodation or safety. You don't care that much. But when you're alone, you have to be literally more focused. And as a woman, me personally, I didn't feel as safe as a man, but I wouldn't say that something bad happened. In these 3 months and a little bit, I didn't have any bad experience in Nepal and India. And there are countries that many people, when they found out that I'm traveling to India, in India alone, are you crazy? You're going to the north, you know? So, but in my mind, I never thought that it will be. So somehow, I started the trip with this mindset: nothing bad will happen. It's really important this, because some friends of mine were like, don't go out after that time, or do not go to those neighborhoods. I did. I went. Yeah, I did. Yeah, not in the like maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the night, but after dark I would go, you know. And I really like to walk on the small streets. At some point that was not good, to be honest. That was really not good. I just wanted to see Ganga River, and somehow, I don't know, I was walking, just paying attention to the Ganga and to the people who were taking a bath, because 2 weeks ago it just started Shiva month. So actually on 15 it was Shiva day, and I was in Rishikesh back then. So many people were coming to Rishikesh and Haridwar for taking a bath in Ganga River, in the holy river. So I just observing them, and I really didn't realize how I was walking 1-2 kilometers, and then I got lost. So I said, okay, I'll put Google Maps. And you know, Google Maps gives you always the shortest version.
Yeah, but not the safest.
Oh my God! I just wake up myself in between some tents, some really bad. Everybody was looking so weird. They were sleeping really dirty place. They were sleeping everywhere, and 2 people like addressed to me, asking me if I want hashish. I said, no, I don't want, thank you very much, but just please tell me how to get out of here. And they were like, just go. So I was going, and the streets were becoming more narrow, and really the people were looking very bad, like, what are you doing here? My heart was racing a little bit, to be honest. I was like, and I was just starting to walk a little bit faster. But yes, somehow I managed it. That was maybe the only moment when I felt, because I was looking around and it was really bad. It was really looking really bad. Yeah. Yes. But besides that, I never felt in danger. Even when I traveled in Kurdistan, I had a bad experience. This was the only bad experience I had in my life near Mardin. And in this volunteering camp, they told us as a women, never walk alone without a person next to you, especially without a man. Why? Because it's a Muslim culture. It's not only that it's Muslim, it's a little bit conservative area. Yeah. Yes, and it's a matter of maybe respect, or even if we were dressing properly, you know, make a small bracket now. Whenever I'm traveling in a culture, we have to adjust to that culture, right? To dress properly, to address properly. Yes, yeah. So I was okay from this point of view, but in the middle of the day, it was 12 in the day. So I said, I want that baklava. I love baklava, this Turkish baklava. I was dreaming about that. I would do anything, even walking alone, breaking the rules, you know. So I said, what can happen? It's mid of the day, you know. I would just go to take my baklava. It's okay. So I was just starting walking from my camping area. I went out of the camping area. Mardin is a little bit a town on the hill. Yeah. So I wanted to go to the market. It was maybe half an hour walk from our camp to the city center. So I just right there, I took my baklava. I was so happy. And then on my way back, I noticed one guy. He was always behind me, you know. I started walking, because when you travel alone, your senses become sharper. Yeah. Always. I really noticed that. People told me, but I didn't. But it is like that. You really become more conscious of everything, especially as a woman. Yeah. And I was noticing him just behind me. I started walking faster. He would walk faster, and then I was walking slower. He would also adjust the speed on my. So I said, "Oh, he's just okay." But again, it's mid of the day. Maybe nothing will happen. So I went out of the city. There was no way, no reason for that he would just follow me. So he came next to me. I was keep walking. He was just touching me like merhaba. I was like, yok, Turkish, maybe English. And he said like, oh, English. I said, yeah. And how can I help you? I asked. And he was just starting like pushing my arm and telling me like Hostel. Wow. Oh, in that moment, there are two kind of people as I saw. One people who, when they're in like maybe bad situation, they get stuck, frozen, and the other ones who just get super nervous. And
Yeah, flight, fight, fawn, and one more response I think there is to like when your nervous system
yes.
It gets challenged.
I was like,
basically.
everything activated.
Which one are you?
The most furious one. I was like, no, nobody's telling me hotel, and grab my hand, and I don't care. So I started becoming super nervous, you know. I was like pushing him, and he started to be a little bit more aggressive, like literally pushing me. It was a hill area, and he was like grabbing my hand, like, and in that moment, I saw black. I was like, I could understand people who just can do bad things when they are endangered. So I became so, never in my life I was like that. I was starting yelling, shouting so much, talking in Romanian, swearing him in Romanian, and being so nervous and grabbing literally his hand, you know. He was shocked. He stopped. Because they are not used with a woman to react like this, right? So he was, you should have seen his face. So I was so nervous, yelling, shouting, being hysteric, literally like, I don't remember, it was really, really bad. So he was shocked a little bit, you know, he stopped, and he started maybe swearing me, I don't know, telling me bad words in Turkish or whatever language, I don't know. And somehow I escaped. I went, and everything, fortunately, everything was good. Yeah. I went back to the camping area. I was telling Pinar what happened. She was like, I told you not to do so. In the same day, two guys were just going from the other side of the camp, even if we had some guardians there, and they entered in our camp, and they were approaching some Polish ladies, and so it was a little bit, when they see foreigners, maybe when you go to their area, it's not very touristy. Yeah. They are not used, so maybe, I don't know what they think. I don't know what they think about Western people. You never really know,
that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So you can't know the intentions of people
when
you meet them, really.
That was the only bad experience I had, but...
Knock on wood that it stays like that. But see, so the bottom line is basically sharpen your senses.
Oh yes.
Be conscious.
Yes, definitely.
Did you take any like precautions or any sort of like? Did you prepare yourself mentally in terms of like getting rid of fears before you started traveling solo, basically?
Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of women, and I've been asked by a lot of women or female followers of mine that are like, wow, I'd love to do something like you're doing, like hitchhiking through all these countries. But I know that as a woman that it's basically impossible.
I was also hitchhiking in Turkey now.
Oh yeah?
Yes, in Turkey, in Kurdistan. I was a little bit crazy, to be honest. Now, if I believe 10 years ago, I don't know if I would do that again. But you know what? I think 10 years ago, I think things are also a little bit different from my point of view in that area. The world went crazy. From my point of view, every year, like, many bad incidents happen sometimes. So I don't know if I would do that again, but I was hitchhiking in Turkey alone sometimes, and it was okay, it was fine.
Did like the feeling of fear never cross you?
Never.
Wow.
I think this is the thing. You asked me before, like, what's in your mind, like, when you start traveling solo, as a female especially. I had this. Nothing bad will happen to me. However, doesn't matter how long I will stay, I will, of course, again, I don't go out in night. If I talk to people, I just, try to feel them. You feel this sixth sense, especially that women have more developed than men.
Yeah, they
really.
I'm so jealous of that, actually.
Really,
it's
so
true.
You have to take advantage of that. Yeah. So I think just little things, again, how you dress, how you address to the people, being respectful, and all these things. I really believe that nothing bad can happen.
So is there anything that, like, if anybody's listening or watching who's like, oh yeah, I would love to be like that, but I just can't get I can't jump over my own shadow.
I have friends, really close friends to me, saying that, oh, listen, I could never do that. And they're super self-confident and at home, and they're very good. I mean, they're really, really nice girls. But they told me, I cannot just go like that to travel. I think you need a little bit of craziness, or I don't know. Maybe not everybody can do it. I don't know.
Yeah, for me personally, my theory is that it's fear-based. It's anxiety and fear-based.
Exactly.
And
trust in yourself.
Trust in yourself, but also in the universe.
In the universe, it's true.
When you say there's nothing bad gonna happen, you're not only trusting in yourself, you're trusting in everything. I mean, for you it's God. You said you're a Christian.
Of course, that's why it's very good that you mentioned, because you know what? I forgot that, and actually it's very bad that I forgot. Just before starting my trip, I was going to a close priest to my soul. Sometimes I go and talk with him. We say that we need two types of psychologists in life. The one for the two type of doctors. Sorry, yes, the one for the body and the one for the soul. Yes. Can be a psychologist or a priest or somebody really close to you, right? So I have a really special monastery in Romania where it's really in the mountains. It's really remote, and I just go and I feel really good there. But this priest, it's from Bucharest, but he's really special person. Going to Atros, he has really good energy, and I was going to him and have his blessings, before that. So I also maybe asked for a little bit of help, right?
Yes,
and it worked.
And you received it.
I received it, yeah.
That's, as someone who's, I was also raised Catholic. Like my father's side of the family especially is very Catholic. Also my mom's side of the family is religious. But for some reason, maybe because of my peers, because of my group of friends, I kind of like split a little bit from that.
From the idea of spirituality of God, or for the church?
Spirituality, religion and the institution of church.
Okay, that's something else.
Yeah, it's something else.
Yeah.
I definitely found my way back to spirituality, 100%. But what I found when I think about it, and when I talk to friends, family who say, yeah, I'm atheist, I don't believe in anything, I think after death there's nothing, I find myself that belief is such an important thing, actually.
I think it's everything. Listen, when I got diagnosed, and when I was traveling to China in 2017, and that's another story. I had really encountered a whole different culture from medical point of view first, and then from spiritual point of view, from any point of view, cultural, whatever. Yeah. He told me the following: like, any treatment that you take, and anything that you do in life without truly 100% believing in it, it will not happen. And you can try on anything, every single thing that you do, you really have to believe that it is like that. And for the people who do not believe in something, who am I like to say is good or bad? Or from my point of view, again, I really believe that there is something there. We are not alone. Yeah. Even if you call it however you want. Let's say it like this. It's impossible. There is something more than that. I absolutely believe, and I really loved it. There were two books that I read. One is called Life After Life. Life After Life. And Life After Death. Those two books are mind-blowing. One...
Same author?
No, different authors.
Okay.
The first one, it's from medical point of view. It shows like stories of people who are in clinical death, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So
it's about after what's it called? Close death, near-death experiences.
Exactly.
And stuff. Yeah.
What happened, when they were in clinical death for different periods of time, from children to adults, from different nationalities, and there are like stories from hospitals. You can go check. They have. You cannot deny that, right? And the other one, it's based on the same idea, but it's like a story, but it's mind blowing. Like, you cannot say that after that there is nothing, because again we return to the same idea of energy and traveling. We are only body, but this body, in Romanian we bury. In Hindu, we cremate it, right?
Yes.
In any religion, we do maybe different things. We just, in 1 month, we do not exist anymore after we die. But this energy is going around.
It's going somewhere. It's going somewhere. It must go somewhere.
No.
I think the same thing. I believe the same thing. So I'm totally with you on that one.
And again, I'm a person who does not believe just like that. I like to read, to understand rationally the process, everything.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm not a blind believer, not at all.
Yeah.
No. So I really want to understand every single thing, even your process. For example, even in rheumatology, what enzyme goes, what happens. So.
Yeah. That's a tricky one though, because I feel like that's where a lot of things collide, is when the feeling and the spiritual process, or the spiritual concepts behind things like, let's say, energies or whatever, when they meet the rational and the scientific approach. That's where like things clash, and that's where a lot of people that I know, they are like, no, that's all bullshit, you know. And as long as it's not scientifically proven, but
it is scientifically proven that there is something after, not something that, I mean, those people who went back, okay, nobody died and went back, that's for sure, right? But those people who were in this clinical death, you know, and all of them experience and say the absolutely same thing. And then there is one doctor, he's a Romanian, he's a neurologist, and he was writing also so many books, and he's an enormous figure in Romania. And he was explaining why, because some people would say that, okay, maybe if you are a clinical death, your brain issues some substances, right, and that may have you hallucinations, most probably. But then he explains, like, from medical point of view, why it is not like that, you know, because every person has different.
What's his name?
Constantin Dulcan.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Please, I mean this.
Dulcan. Okay.
Yes, this guy is absolutely fantastic. It's amazing, yeah. And he has a book, like, explaining exactly this, like how spirituality is not only. I don't know how to use bad words, in a sense that
you can use bad words.
It's bullshit. It's not bullshit, but he comes with proofs from hospital. Again, he was a doctor. He was doing surgeries, brain surgeries, so you cannot deny his activity, right? He has millions of patients. I mean, many patients. He was performing during communist period as well. So he has brilliant stories. He was offered to go to France, to United States of America. I told you he's a really important figure, but he chose to stay in Romania, and he was studying philosophy as well. And he explains also about divinity, right? He says, let's not call it Jesus, Allah, Mohammed, Shiva, doesn't matter, Brahma, whoever, name it however you want, but there is an entity there for sure.
I'm there with him, Okay, let's come back. We also went far away, but that's good. I love that, and that's a big part of this podcast anyways. It's not just volunteering, it's also those kind of conversations. But your second experience in Nepal.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to talk about the third one in 10 years ago.
Yes.
But let's talk about the one in... It was a monastery, right?
It was a monastery. I was volunteering in Kavalung Monastery in Kathmandu. It's a Buddhist monastery. I really wanted to teach English and to be in a monastery. So this one was not through World Packers. I found it differently. And I was staying there for less than 2 weeks, unfortunately, because I had a plane ticket to India. But then I would anytime return, and I will return for sure there. It was amazing, and to prolong. I met people who were staying for 3 months, 6 months there.
Nice.
I mean, you can imagine. So what's the idea? It's one guy, this big lama, was monk, was founding this monastery not a long time ago. It's a Buddhist monastery, but it's the one that they have monks, but after that they can leave monastery. So when they are 18, 20, 25, doesn't matter, they can leave the monastery. They even have families, they get married. So, but while they stay in the monastery, of course, they have this life accordingly. And now they have this new concept that's mind-blowing. It's amazing. They're going to really remote villages in Nepal, border with Tibet, they go to some villages where live the untouchables. Do you know about? Did you hear?
Yes, it's it's based on the caste system.
Exactly,
Right? Yeah.
it's the lowest class. It used to be before, but still, unfortunately, now it's still, those ideas are still valid. So those children from there, nobody would hire them. Nobody will receive, they will not have access to education. And I've heard really bad stories, like little girls can be
Like sex trafficking.
exactly,
And stuff like that.
and nobody will be responsible. It's happening today, 2023, right? So they go, they take them to the monastery, of course, with the approval of the parents, and they give them till 18 maybe, free education, free accommodation, right? And I was like, and do they want? Because for me, it's like to give your own child. He said, if they want, they are running after me. Fathers, mothers, take my child, please take my child, take also my child. So it's insane. But they didn't have places. They took only 20 girls for this year, but now they're taking to make it, to extend it, right? Next year maybe with another 15. So they were there for 1 month. So the project just started and I met those little girls. Oh my God. They're just amazing, you know. They would come to you, touch you, you know, counting this, hug you, and if you give attention to one, they just come. You see, you really see that they lack that, you know. They had lack of this attention and love, and then I saw some pictures and videos from their villages. They would stay 10 people in one room and dirty and living from one day to another. So what this guy is doing, it's really nice. And I was lucky because exactly in those 2 weeks, he was visiting the monastery. He's living in the States and he's...
This is the Lama who founded the monastery.
Exactly, the big Lama who the founder. He's living in the States, but he's traveling a lot around the world. Teaching Buddhism. So in that period he was there, so I had the opportunity to talk with him in the evening, to speak a little bit. I have an NGO back in Romania, so maybe I think to develop this somehow, yes, at some point. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, why not? It's collaboration over competition all day long. That's something that I've realized over the last few weeks and months. It's so much more important that we find cooperation and collaboration instead of stupid capitalistic competition. So anytime you have the opportunity, I think you should go for it.
And especially with those, and now it comes to my mind one little story. So one day it was one volunteer. We were cheating, we had the cheat days, like going out of the monastery, taking bounty or little sweets, because in the monastery we'd have 3 meals, accommodation and everything, but of course no sweets. So we just go and cheat sometimes. And he took this bounty. And then there was one little monk just next to us. He was looking, and this guy just gave him, you know what he did? He took the little piece, he just took a little bit of it, and it was another little monk. He ran immediately to give him. The second little monk took again a little bit, and then looking we were in the central garden, in the yard where they play football, looking for the other little monks, the other colleagues, you know, to give. There was nobody, so we were like, okay, we can share. So now they're shared. But the first impulse, the first thing was to share, you know. And I was just thinking back to my country, you know, how we raise sometimes our children, or how children are, and it starts from the family. It starts from the family, right? Because a children is so pure. He doesn't know anything when he's born, so it's total products of how he is raised, total, 100%. So maybe I would just take the bounty for myself, you know. But the first thing is sharing always. So, and another thing, in the evening, every evening, they do a line and they would just surround the monastery 3 times, and each of them in silence think about minimum or a few things, good things that happened to them today. Nice. So they're taught to be grateful.
Yes.
So for a time, so not 3 times, and the monastery it's quite big, just to have time in peaceful to think, what good things happened to me today, to be grateful for that. Since they're 3, 4, 5 years old, they are taught like this. And you know that if you do it for 21 days, it becomes a habit. And if you do it for 6 months, it becomes a way of life.
Exactly.
So
I was just inspired to start a gratefulness diary 5 days ago.
Oh, great, great.
Awesome. That's awesome. So what was your, so you said your main tasks in the monastery we were teaching English,
Teaching
right?
English, right? But it was not only teaching English. For example, one time I was just, they had social science, and after that there were 7, 8 boys, 14, 15 years old, maybe, and we would stay after doing the homework, we'd stay and talk. We talked for 2 hours about life. You know what they asked me? They were so curious. They asked me, do you think education is important? What question from a 12 years old person, you know? Education is important. Wow. And then we talk. Another one was, he was an artist. He was drawing so beautiful, you know? And the other was mocking on him like, oh, he's a romantic guy, you know? And everybody was mocking and making fun of him. And I was just trying to explain like, this is such a big plus gift that you are given, you know? So you have to be very proud, and I congratulate them. And then I was doing the following, and I will ask you, maybe, I just found out this recently, but I found it's super, super important question and little exercise. Maybe you know it, but maybe some people who watch do not know it. So you have 3 seconds to name 3 people that you love. Name it. 3 people that you love.
Can I say 4?
Okay,
My
4.
mom, my dad, and my brothers.
Okay. So mom, father, and brothers, right? Okay. You are sure about the answers, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Locked in.
Exactly.
Yes.
Actually, I did the same, right? Yes, I was thinking about my close relatives.
Yeah.
But you know what? And I was asking the same for them, like to do, and each of them was like, oh, brother, father, oh no, he is, oh, you know, everybody would find the closest person, but none of them and of us didn't say me.
Wow.
Me. Because know what? It's not a thing of selfishness. You first have to love yourself.
Yes.
So love yourself
Preach.
first. Really.
Yeah, it's true.
Because when you love yourself, you know, you become self-confident. You become a good person. You start to understand better the others. You are better for the others. Yeah. You can help better for the others. You can be a pillar maybe for the one around you. So we really have to love ourselves, and again, not in a selfish way.
No.
It's about loving yourself, caring yourself, respecting yourself.
Exactly. And to add to that, it's even enough, because I actually heard someone talk about this. Shout out to Georg, I think, from Real Talks. I think he talked about it. It's even enough to start with liking yourself, because loving yourself is already like, you know, it's like up there. Yeah. But starting to like yourself is like the first step, because so many of us dislike ourselves for various reasons. Yeah. I hate part of myself, like used to hate part of myself. And
but you know why? You know what is the main reason why we just do not love ourselves that much? It's comparison. Yeah. Because we always compare to the others, and that is a silent killer. We always compare to the others, and especially in this area. I mean, this ties with social media, when everybody is richer, everybody is better, everybody is happier, everybody has more money than me, everybody is traveling better than me, everyone is posting more things than me, and everybody literally is better than me. Dot. End of story. Yes. So, and that's so false, false. Not true.
That's the biggest downside, I think, of social media. I think social media has advantages as well. You know, you can stay in touch with your friends around the world very easily, but that's one massive downside. That whole thing where we always think we're not enough, we don't work hard enough. How can that person always be traveling? Like, even I've had people asking me, like, what did I do wrong in my life, or what did you do, what did I not do, that you can do something like that? And that is a killer for sure. So yeah, liking yourself. But even while you were asking, when I gave you the answer and you were talking about the thing with loving yourself, I was thinking to myself, I should have said that, because I know actually and I'm kind of proud of that. I have to, now it's on record. I'm proud that I'm at that point already where I know that, and this may sound very spiritual for some people, but I don't think love is an action. I think it's a state of being.
Oh yeah, yes,
And
yes.
and I think when you are practicing, and I'm not saying I'm the best or whatever at
course,
practicing.
yeah.
It's like a slow process, but just realizing the fact that you can be in that state.
Yeah.
And that state starts with yourself, nobody else, because everything's, it's all within us.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
external.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I just wanted to add that. But yeah, it's a great mind exercise, I think. You will blow a lot of people's minds, I think, with that one.
Yeah, this is it. And some people, you know what? They are afraid to say me. Even if you said for a couple of seconds, I thought to say me. But then if I say me, I would sound like I love myself. No.
You sound like a narcissist
yes,
or something like that.
No,
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with that.
No.
And this is the good part of volunteering, because it's not only you who offer, it's only the other side. Because this little conversation that I have with the monks, it really taught me also a lot. Mm-hmm. So, returning to this aspect, I found always in volunteering good opportunity, not only for helping the others, but also for helping myself. So,
very nice.
I think every person should do at least once in life, try volunteering.
You heard it, people. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's changed my life.
And doesn't matter the place. Again, it's not about India. I really wanted to travel.
And it doesn't matter about the activity
to have
either.
gap year.
Yeah.
I just combined it with volunteering here. Yeah. But you can volunteer anywhere, anytime, with any kind of people.
And like you said in the very beginning, I think it can be even more valuable to start in your own community.
Oh yeah.
If you have the opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Like you were saying, for me it felt different than volunteering in Romania maybe, but I think, and I have to, always we say, in German we say, sich selbst bei der Nase nehmen, to take yourself by your own nose. Start with yourself.
Yes.
I also I'm traveling, I'm interviewing people all across the world, but returning back and then giving back in your own community,
yes.
in your own surroundings, I think that's also really, really important.
Definitely. So yeah, that was the experience about the monastery. It was a total different experience from the first one, and it was fantastic.
What about the very first one? You said 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And that also, I think, if I interpreted it correctly earlier, it was very transformative for you.
Yes, definitely. All my experience, and I relate always, I compare it to the first one, and somehow transformed me so much, because it came in a moment that I needed that. Mm-hmm. I told you that in 2010 I was diagnosed with this autoimmunity. It was really, really strong. So after being a little bit more stable, I said that I just want to go away and to stay in another culture and do something mind-blowing. So I chose Syria. I chose exactly Kurdistan. Exactly. I had actually, it was one organization from Romania, and there were many destinations. And
Do you want to name it in case people want to check it out, or does it not operate
now
anymore?
they're not operating anymore. The girl she moved abroad.
Okay.
Yes, but they were doing many volunteering projects, and it was a correct one in the sense that many others were charging, but this one was just asking what European Union was asking, like 20 euros, and then everything was for free. Okay. Accommodation, transport, all the experience, and even pocket money, because volunteering, it used to be like that, not anymore. Sometimes yes, but yeah, 10 years ago it used to be like that. So I was choosing between Ghana in Africa and this experience. Ghana was 3 months. This experience was 1 month and a half. So I said, maybe I'll go for this one, a little bit shorter. It's closer to my home country, and then I will travel to Ghana maybe. So.
So what was it about?
It was a festival, Norden Street Arts and Mesopotamia Festival. Mm-hmm. Mesopotamia, why? Because Kurdistan, it's in the valley of Mesopotamia, valley of Tiger River. That's why. And the street art, because there were many artists. We had also some artists who were performing in Cirque du Soleil.
Oh, nice.
Yes, super nice. We've been 150 people from all over the globe. It was amazing. Of course, with different organizations, each of us. From Romania, it was only me and 3 boys. And basically, we need to organize a festival for the Kurdish children who do not have access to education, or if they have access to education, is not, of course, is not like you have it in Europe. So they were children who never saw a face painting or a clown in their lives, or they didn't hear a guitar in their life, and it's those small and really poor communities that they never went out of there. So this festival would be, wow, mind-blowing for them. I was really nervous in the beginning, like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I don't know how to paint, or this perfectionist thing in me always saying, but you know what? When you go there, and it was enough to put, this clown red nose, and you put that, you would be surrounded from 20 kids immediately. So curious, and I would draw on the hand maybe one butterfly or a flower, and immediately it would be a queue. I was shocked.
Yeah.
A mother with a child was just staying and queuing for me to draw, It was so much different. And then the artists, we would dance, they would sing, it was this juggling, and also we had English classes. Who wants to attend? Of course, how much can you teach in some, but at least to speak with them, to show this is a ball, this is, just to have small conversation. And we would go in the Mardin Cultural Center, we would train, make the program, and then with the minivan, we'd travel to different small cities.
Fun fact, I think I've met the person who was organizing those events from the Mardin cultural department.
Okay.
I think I met them through the couch surfer I was staying with in Mardin.
Pinar was organizing. It was
Pinar?
Yes.
It's a guy?
Oh, a lady.
Oh, okay.
A lady, but she was
it might
not
have
alone.
changed over the years, I don't know. But anyways,
she was not
it would be a
alone.
funny coincidence. But I think that's a very interesting point that you're raising, actually, with the thing that you were going into the whole thing with the attitude of a perfectionist and being afraid that you're not going to do good enough.
Oh, yes.
But I think that's something that's also something that I've learned through volunteering, is even the smallest thing that you do will be appreciated so much.
And this brings you confidence. Also now in Nepal, you don't know how stressed I was in the beginning. I was even reading, preparing some what to do in day 1, day 2, exactly as in school, as I was doing in Romania. Exactly, a plan, a curriculum, what I should discuss. I was so nervous. But once you are there, it is nothing like you imagine. It's so much relaxed, and it's important, because better than being so strict and have your curriculum, and on the other hand being so relaxed and talk with them and they would also feel much relaxed, the second option is much more successful.
Yeah, exactly.
It was great, the first experience and what I saw, and then the people. We would perform the festival for 2 hours, and all the community, all the city will attend, from the smallest. So the festival was for the children, but actually it was for everyone.
Of course.
Yeah, so every single one, from the youngest to the eldest, will come, and then we will talk with the people. Some people we'd invite to their houses, they would cook. And you know what I learned? That was because it's a little bit subjective. It was my first volunteering experience in such a different culture, and it was totally different from the culture I was coming from. The poorest people were the most, I don't know how to say, like the best ones, the most warm people, the kindest. Literally, they would cook, they would bring everything they had for them, like chicken, they would put rice, they would put vegetables, take, They are so much kind. And
honestly, I don't think it's a subjective experience. I think this is a very objective truth, and I don't know how to explain it either, because it's very paradox.
I sound really like a child now,
No,
now I was thinking how I speak, and also the words do not come. I sound like being...
Don't worry about it.
I don't find enough words to explain how beautiful the experience is. That's the idea.
But the people who have the less are the most willing to give.
Exactly.
It's crazy. And
They're the biggest givers.
Every single country that I've traveled to, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The people who have the least, they are the kindest people. It's incredible. And it really makes you wonder, what can we take from that? And how can we improve, the wealthier parts of our society?
Yeah.
Like, how can we show those kind of people,
But
and I'm going to include myself because I come from one of the most privileged groups in the world as a white male from Central Europe. How can we learn from that kindness? And that's, I think, one of the most valuable things that you can learn through those kind of experiences.
Oh yes, after this experience, I came back a totally different person. Believe me, I thought you would appreciate everything you have more. I would tell to my friends, like, look how these people live and how they for example, in the evening, men would sleep, because it's a Muslim culture. It's a little bit conservative, and the women stay aside. Men were staying aside, and men would sleep on the roof, and the women inside of the house, and. The children, depends. They stay usually with the mom, but then the little girls, again, they separate. Yeah. I came back to Romania being so grateful first for the culture I was raised in, I was born in, and for all the opportunities that we have. We think that we have them for granted, but it's not like that. No. Look at the kindergarten I was teaching in. While in Romania, I was teaching in a private kindergarten, in a state kindergarten, and there were differences between them. I don't want to enter into details, but I really felt the differences. And then, of course, comparing to this experience, I don't want to say spoiled, but I think that European children are somehow like that, again, thinking that buying for them many valuable things, even since they're small, like brand clothes, or giving super expensive toys or super expensive gadgets. They had gadgets in sometimes in a primary school, super fancy iPhones. I don't say you don't have to be connected. Definitely, I don't want to sound like old, or we are in the era of technology. Obviously, we all have technology and we depend on that, and this is the future. I absolutely agree with that. But I think that somehow we have to put a break a little bit. In Europe, we went a little bit too far, because in the monastery, for example, but they are in a monastery, but not even in the kindergarten and in the schools. They take the phone when you start the classes, and then when you finish the classes, they give you back the phone. And then you will not have children, for example, on their phones during the breaks. They will play, they will run, they will discuss, they will laugh, they will fight, they will whatever.
No, it's definitely, it's taking things for granted, like you said. We take so many things for granted, and putting yourself in a completely different environment, in a completely different culture, in a completely different setting.
That's when you realize grateful, how grateful you are, even for the health, even now we are talking now. We see each other, we can talk to each other, we can share so many experiences. We are so lucky for every single day that we start. You just go up in bed and you can walk without pain or without. Some people would give anything in life, believe me, just to sit, just to talk, just to walk, just to be able to we really have to be so much grateful. Gratitude, actually, this guy Konstantin Dulcan is saying that when they made an experiment. They showed to some group of people some photos with good memories of the loved ones or of some really nice experiences. Immediately, there were some impulses in the brain, and your body issues serotonin, oxytocin, right, which is the hormone of happiness. They switch to the photos with bad memories, a car accident, maybe a loss of a member of family, or whatever bad memory you have. The impulses in the brain are totally different. So your body reacts accordingly. So that's why I'm saying this. And he was saying that gratitude, it's one of the status that brings physically in the body the serotonin, oxytocin. So and you know what he said? Only saying, thank you, whoever, thank you, it creates a chemical reaction in the brain. It's amazing.
That's what the yogis say is also what this gesture does.
Yes.
Putting your hands together,
Yes.
having the energy flow between your hands.
Nice.
It does something to your body.
Yes, yes.
And you're
And even the
supposed to
smile.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Seeing that it's gonna get dark, or it's getting darker, I want to wrap this up. I always finish with 2 questions.
Okay.
The first one, you can write a letter to a person in the past, in the future, in the present, a fictitious person, a real person, doesn't matter. Who would you write the letter to, and what would be the content?
Can I write the letter to myself?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
And what would be the content? Like, what would I write?
You don't have to go into all details,
Of course,
but you can...
yeah, definitely. It will be a very simple and very short letter. Like, now after so many years of experimenting things and traveling and passing this health problem or bad story that usually is the best teacher in life. I would tell exactly what we're talking about, like maybe do these small exercises of gratitude and small exercises of saying thank you every day in the morning, because even me, even if I had a health problem, and sometimes I realized how lucky I am, and even when I was returning from volunteering projects, you are back home, you forget a little bit, but then really it is a reality. So I would just advise myself that to really do this exercise every day, be grateful, trying to appreciate every single day that is given, every single person that you meet, because that is another thing. I don't think nothing is random. Everything happens for a reason. I know we all know this, it's everywhere written.
Cheesy but true.
Cheesy but
true.
When you start to really, really understand that, things change. Yes, and I would say have the courage to start this solo trip earlier.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yes.
Very good. And the second question is, it's a simple one. What's your favorite bird?
Bird.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a very difficult question actually. The bird. Who is the one who flies the highest?
Wow, actually, I'm not sure. The one that flies the highest, it might be the...
You know which is my favorite bird, actually? The eagle, I think. You know why? Because when I love trekking. I do a lot of trekking. When I go to the mountains, my favorite spot is to go on the border of a steep rock,
a cliff,
and literally stay on the edge. I do that. I mean, the people I'm going with, they are terrified. Like all the time, crazy, go from there, I don't want to kill you. And I just stay there and imagine like I'm flying, and see this sensation of flying and of freedom. It's so nice. So that's why I was asking, which is the bird who flies the highest?
I'll look it up and I'll put it in the outro, and then I'll let people know. Any specific kind of eagle? No, just eagles.
Just eagles.
Eagles or the bird that flies the highest?
Flies, because it's also it is with a message. In this life, maybe we have to try to reach. It's a metaphor to reach our highest, not potential, but maybe to overcome our highest fears, and maybe to try to. I don't know how to explain exactly, but maybe to be more detached about what is I don't know
what is happening down
what
here,
is happening
and
down
get in
here.
touch more with what is up there.
Exactly, I think
He's
more
doing
of
it
that.
on purpose. I think he did it the second time. Yeah, reach our highest selves. I don't know. It's also like kind of like a spiritual cliche, I think, for many people. But I think there is such a thing. I don't know. Maybe it's an illusion. Maybe it's not. Like lower selves and higher selves. I'm not sure. I still have to find an answer to that. But I think I get where you're going with your metaphor. Reaching our highest potential. I think that's actually a good way of putting it.
Exactly. And whatever highest fears we have to overcome them, And actually, after overcoming, you realize that, that's it. That was it. Actually, it was nothing.
Yeah.
You know, because we are born. They say, scientists say that we are born only with one fear: the fear of height. We are born with only this fear. All the other fears are the one that we just.
I heard it's the fear of death.
That we are born with that. And how about Vikings? How about many other civilizations that they are not afraid of dying? Even Hindu.
They took a lot of mushrooms back then.
Good point. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I've never met a Viking personally, but I would love to. Yeah, good way to finish the podcast,
Yes.
I think. Anything else you want to mention? Anything else you want on record?
I don't want to sound cheesy again, but I said it millions of times, but I will say 1,000,001 times. Always be grateful for every single thing that you have in the day, and for good and for bad, because the good it's good, but the bad is also comes with the lesson. So never think that things happen to you, that you are unlucky, that you are the worst, or no, everybody is the same, and things happen to you it exactly how it should happen. So
Well spoken.
really, it is like that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Ja, und das war's auch schon wieder. Vielen, vielen herzlichen Dank für eure Aufmerksamkeit und dass ihr so lang dran geblieben seid. Sorry, dass es jetzt schon wirklich, glaube ich, das 3. Mal hintereinander ist, dass ich irgendwie einen Videoausfall habe. In dem Fall war es, dass mein Speicherplatz am Handy leer war und das Handy einfach aufgenommen hat zu recorden. Ich hoffe, es war trotzdem spannend, interessant, wertvoll und ja, ich habe es tatsächlich gegoogelt, welcher Vogel am höchsten fliegt. Zur Überraschung vieler, zumindest meiner Überraschung, sind es keine Adler. Es ist tatsächlich der Rüppeli-Falke, wollte ich jetzt schon sagen. Wie heißt denn das auf Deutsch? Der Rüppeli-Geier, beheimatet in Ländern wie Kenia, Tansania und Äthiopien, beziehungsweise am afrikanischen Kontinent, der bis zu 10.000 Meter hoch fliegt. Wie sie das herausgefunden haben, ist etwas kurios und schräg. Nämlich ist einer von denen anscheinend einem Flugzeug auf 10.000 Metern in die Turbinen geflogen. Auch gefährlich. Und eine kleine Warnung, weil, wie man sich vorstellen kann, hören sich Geier ein bisschen komisch an. Und zwar so. So, damit beende ich das Ganze. Vielen herzlichen Dank noch einmal, dass ihr dabei wart. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Much peace, much dove, much love, Liebe und so geht raus. Bis bald, euer Jakob.